Hi you guys, and welcome back to my witch room slash my office. I am so excited for this video, for this project. I'm doing a total and complete makeover slash mini reno of my office. I've been planning this for about a year. Right now, I'm feeling very uninspired by this room. I love the stuff that I have, but there's just something about it that feels really uninspiring to me. So I want the vibe in here to be very moody. I also want it to feel like a witch's apothecary shop. And I also want it to feel very, very artsy. And so I have a color palette that I am going with. Green and pink are going to be the main colors in here. And so, of course, we're going to paint the walls. But like any old house, there are hurdles to get through first. And for me, that looks like repairing the drywall in here. You can see the seams. Every single thing that's ever been done in this house was done with absolutely no honor and no thought. And so all of the drywall seams in here need to be repaired. Tomorrow morning, my dad is going to be starting all of those repairs. My paint just shipped and will be arriving in 2 days. Let's talk about the paint. I didn't want just regular old paint because that's boring. And I wanted Limewash paint. And so I have been on a journey. I have been on a pilgrimage of paint. I searched high and low for Limewash paint on Vancouver Island. Cannot be found. It is not on this island at all. And so I ordered the paint from a shop called Greenworks in Vancouver. It will be here in a couple days. So let's start packing up and making a blank canvas for this project. I think that there is going to be a lot of holes on this wall. As we started the work, my mini reno quickly turned into a major reno. We really realized that there were so many issues and every inch of the room needed to be worked on. So we just kept chipping away, and on most days, my dad was working in here day and night. On many of the nights that my dad was working on the drywall, I was working on the design and planning the artwork. I'm just removing the text from this photo that I want to put in my office, and so I'm going to see if I like it with the text or without. It's almost 3:30. My dad just left. He just finished the drywall, and I have to clean this whole space right now. I was cleaning in here until 5:30 a.m. last night, and my dad left around 3. And today we are going to be priming. My dad has been working in here for 12 to 15 hours a day for the last 6 days. He has completely rebuilt the drywall, and it's just insane. He said that the walls speak a language that only he could understand. That is a direct quote. And so now my dad has become very attached to these walls. And so he specifically wants to do the first coat of primer to make sure there's no paint drips or anything, because he has put so much time and care and sweat into these walls. And so, yeah, that is what's happening. My dad is going to prime for the first time today. Absolutely everything in here is getting primed. While my dad primes, I'm going to start cleaning my house because the drywall dust has permeated every crack and crevice.
Hello, Ramona. I can't shake the simplest feeling beyond the ghost. We stand on the opposite shore. Hello, Ramona. I reach through mysterious ceilings, my only hope. I look for things I don't know.
We are about halfway through the priming, and we realized that we weren't going to be able to get away with not doing the front of the door and the door frame that meets the living room, because the paint is just literally peeling off. We thought we were going to be able to get away with not doing it because it's a lot of work. We have to do it. So that's what's happening now. And I actually like the idea of doing the doorway and the threshold, because it's like, I have this thing about thresholds. And so, yeah, I kind of like that it's going to be new, or, you know, kind of new.
Hello,
This is a look. So, a little bit of an update. I look like this. I was up until 5:30 a.m. again working on this. It is no joke to work and reno and work from home at the same time. I cannot even explain to you what my house looks like. I cannot even fathom what I was thinking when I thought this is gonna take a week. Literally, when I started this, I just wanted to paint. So we have arrived at the moment we have all been waiting for. It is time to actually put some color on these walls. I'm using Limewash paint. Limewash paint is made from minerals. It has no added chemicals or solvents or anything like that. And what I like about Limewash paint is that it's kind of got a classical history, and if you know, you know, the roots of my spirituality started with me studying classical history. And so I kind of like that nod, and this is like my practice space. And so I just really kind of like that full circle moment. And it's very, very beautiful. It's kind of like an art piece on the wall because it creates this movement and depth and not just this flat color. The paint that I'm using is from Color Atelier, and I'm using the color Cypress Ink, and I bought this from a store called Greenworks on the mainland in Vancouver and had it shipped here. So this paint for 2 cans, it cost a little over $300 with the shipping. It's about 135 Canadian a can. And so it's quite expensive, and you also need to use an acrylic primer. and I decided to just use regular acrylic primer from Home Hardware instead of the color Atelier one because it cost half the price. So I was expecting to spend about $400 on paint, and I also got a paintbrush. You need to use one of the thick staining brushes for Limewash paint. We ended up spending $800 on paint and paint supplies, which is literally so unexpected. And you know what? I feel duped by makeover shows. I really feel duped by home makeover shows. I feel like when I'm watching these shows, they're not talking about how long it takes to prep and prime. A lot of these shows I watch, they just start painting. And I feel fooled. When I started this, I just wanted to paint, and now here we are 2 weeks later. So anyways, the budget got blown out. There is no budget at this point. So before I put the paint on the walls, I'm going to paint a sigil on the wall. This is a sigil that I made, and it is going to activate my intention and the magic of this room. This is where I work. This is where I create. This is the room where I do a lot of my magic. I don't know if you can see, but the popcorn on the ceiling comes down onto the wall a little bit, and so it is so hard to get a straight line here. My camera cut out while I was painting, but yeah, it looks like a hot mess right now, but it will not be like this forever. Trust the process. This actually looks so hilariously bad that I need to get my dad's reaction.
You can see how you can see a little.
My dad is so funny. He only cared about my painting technique between the wall and the ceiling. I wanted to mention that with Limewash paint, it's best to seal it afterwards, and if you don't, then you won't be able to wash the walls. But I skipped the sealing part because the sealant cost almost $200, and this isn't a high traffic room. So it is the next morning. This wall and this wall have 2 coats. And you can see this wall just has the one so far. I also went for the closet. I wasn't planning on doing that, but I absolutely love it. And I also did this ceiling. And I think that gave me a fun opportunity to kind of try out that trend of painting the ceiling the same color as the walls. I am so close to the finish line. I am so close to being able to actually decorate and install things. Just put some of my stuff in here and I'm getting really excited for the decorating part. I can hardly move my body. I feel broken. I was up till 5 a.m. again last night, but I'm finally done, I think. I already love it. I just love it so much. So let's just look at the walls and the room one more time before everything gets what's in here. The walls are coming off a little bit more gray in the video, but it is green. It is green. This is the mid-century lamp that I scored for $80, and this is a 1955 lamp, and this is a fiberglass shade, and I had been looking for one for quite a long time, specifically in green, because I have a pink one in my living room, and it just totally sets the tone for whatever room it's in, and I knew that I was gonna do green walls, and I think it looks amazing. So I have this vintage shelf, and I have no idea when or where I got this. It's just been sitting in my garage. I saw this thing on Pinterest where they had installed these little hooks, these eye hooks on the bottom of the shelf to hang dried flowers, and so I'm gonna do that. I'm just switching the hooks out for gold and moving them back a little bit. So I just got some flowers for my new shelf. Oh my god, they smell so good. These are the pictures that I was working on for my frames. So there's this one, this one, this one, and this one. So I still have all of this stuff to put in my office, and I'll tell you right now, it's not going back in there. So I need to really figure everything out. All of that there is for my apothecary, so that is going back in there. But all of this and all of this is for my online store that I used to have. Okay, so I feel like something that's bothering me is this cart. The color of it is just kind of creating a little bit of chaos for me, so I got a white one, and I think that will match much better with the space. So I've taken out the little pictures because I want you to be able to see the Limewash through the spacing. And I also have some of my tin types out because I wanted to add a little bit of dimension and texture around the room. And over here I've put that tin type, and then this is the print that I had on my wall before. The lighting is not very good in here right now, but I just put this piece from my bathroom just to see how balanced it would be if there was two pieces of art on top of these cabinets. I also think that these cabinets work so much better than the IKEA shelf because they're more of a similar height, whereas the IKEA shelf is so much higher. What do you think? Oh! Oh! And making lots of progress. So I got my print, of the Wicked Witch, and I had to rework the imagery a little bit in order to fit in this frame. So originally there's 4 photos, which I think are Polaroids, and I could only fit 3, and I think it's gonna look really good. I'm really happy with it. So these are the frames that I got, and I actually went to a couple other thrift stores yesterday and found 2 more. I found a really big one. These frames are incredible, and I feel really, really lucky that I found the same frame that my other print in here is framed in. These are art gallery frames, and so they're no joke to take apart and put together, and they really bring me back to my time as a art gallery and museum curator. I had to deal with these kinds of things a lot. So these photos are of the actress who played the Wicked Witch in The Wizard of Oz, and they were taken by Andy Warhol in 1981. She's pretending to be the Wicked Witch, and I just think they are so fourth wall and so cool. Decorating my room was such a fun challenge that I had been dreaming of for so long. I have a lot of different design inspirations that sometimes it can be a challenge for me to make things look really cohesive. I love different things about the mid-century, 70s, 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, so finding a way to make all of my vintage finds and loves work in one space was really fun, and I think in the end it all ended up working, and I also got so much inspiration for my other rooms. I just found Winnie sleeping on my moss, and so I have to show you.
All in this, I stand alone. Show me where the ending goes. Honest, honestly.
I have been waiting to drink this beer, this chocolate orange beer, since the middle of December. I've been waiting for the right moment, and putting my apothecary together I think is the right moment. And also, I am celebrating the fact that I finally got a label maker, and it's one of those cool old-timey looking ones. So I'm going to relabel everything. Also, I found this cup at the thrift store when I found the frame for my Wicked Witch photo, and it is so beautiful. It's so perfect. My curtains just arrived. It's the final piece to this whole reno. After almost 2 months of work, it was finally time for the finishing touches, and I couldn't wait to see the final vision come true. here we are 2 months later and we are finally done the space. I am so in love. For one, I'm very proud of myself that I was able to really create a space that is a reflection of my soul and my essence. I just feel like I did a really great job of pulling all my inspirations into one space and making it into a really cohesive style. And I feel like because of this, I'm so inspired to do my other spaces, and I have been making tweaks throughout my house to kind of make this essence flow throughout my house. And also the amount of work that it took to get here. I never saw myself as a drywaller, but here we are. And yeah, that whole aspect of it, the drywalling and all of that, was so unexpected. And the Limewash, I'm so happy with the Limewash. I feel like it was the best design choice for this space and for bringing my vision to life. And I would love to add Limewash in other parts of my house. I do think if you did too many rooms that were all Limewash, that's a slippery slope and a little too trendy for me, but I would love to add some of this in another spot in my house. My dad loves it so much that he's actually gonna do a feature wall in his house. I think I need a new rug. I actually bought this pink rug several years ago specifically for this space, but now that my interior design perspectives have grown, I can see that the rug is too small for this space, and I would love something vintage in the brown and rust colors. The last thing that I am still considering about changing is my desk, the top of my desk. I would love if it was a darker wood, and in order to do that, I would need to use this liquid wood product called Retique and then stain it a darker wood. But I do love my desk now and I don't want to mess it up. So I'm just really taking my time to ponder this and really figure out if that's something I want to take a risk on. I have realized I've had a revelation that I have accidentally created a dark academia masterpiece. That is where I'm at. I realized that I think my office, my witch space, is very dark academia. And I'd love to explore this in another video and really talk about what is that style and how I accidentally achieved it. Yeah, so I think that would be a really fun video. And also, one more thing before I go. I got a new ceramic cat, and her name is Mathilde. She's French. Most of my ceramic cats are. I don't know why, but they just are. Anyways, yes, I got this at Vintage After Death, one of the best vintage stores in Victoria. And you know how I knew that she was for me? She was $16. That's my spiritual number. That is how I knew. And that is the same store that I also got my sunbox from. That is the focal point on my shelf. But yeah, I'm very excited. I have about 5 now. It's just who I am. Please accept it. So thank you so much for coming on this absolutely wild journey with me. I really hope that this brought you some inspiration, and I really hope that my vintage style, I don't know, just does something for you. Yeah, thank you so much. I so appreciate it. I know that I've been really inconsistent this year, but I promise there are some reasons why, and I'll explain those in a different video. So thank you so much for sticking with me and for sharing this space with me. I'm just really, really excited for what is about to come. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.